Hey guys, so today I've decided to make something super colorful, super festive because it's wintertime and we need some brightness in our life. So I am going to make some Mexican quinoa stuffed peppers. Hola, that's right. I've never made this recipe before. I've made stuffed peppers, but not like this. So I'm going to show you the ingredients that we're going to need and let's get started. Woo! Here's what we are going to need for this recipe. I'm using 4 bell peppers. Now I decided to go one of each color because I want it to be super colorful. And 3/4 cup of quinoa, which I'm going to cook in vegetable broth. So I'm using 1.5 cups of vegetable broth. Now you can use just plain water, but I thought it would be more exciting and more flavorful with the vegetable broth. I'm going to use 1 cup of corn. Now this is canned corn. You can use frozen corn, whichever you prefer. If you have fresh corn, that would be amazing. 2 green onions. I'm going to use some cumin, chili powder, and smoked paprika to spice it up, and a little bit of nutritional yeast. Also 2/3 of a cup of salsa, and then 15 ounces of drained and rinsed black beans. This is super important. Make sure that you drain them and rinse them because you don't want any of that sodium on there, and you want to rinse them until all the bubbles are gone. So let's get started with this quinoa. So to cook the quinoa, I'm getting a small saucepan and I am going to put in my 1.5 cups of vegetable broth. And then once that comes to a boil, I'm going to add my 3/4 cups of quinoa and then reduce the heat and let it simmer for about 15 minutes. Oh, and cover it. And then take it off the stove and just let it sit for 5 minutes and then fluff it up with a fork and the quinoa will be done. In the meantime, I'm going to cut my bell peppers and green onions and get that part of this recipe going as well. Yay! Yeah, and I don't have any lids for my pot, so when in doubt. Yeah. Okay, so I forgot to set the timer on the quinoa, so let's hope that it turns out. In the meantime, I am cutting up these peppers. So what I'm doing is cutting them in half like this, and then removing all the seeds and stem and the inside part so that it will be perfect for putting the quinoa mixture inside. Now, I don't know if this is the proper way to cut a pepper for stuffed peppers. If it isn't, please let me know, because I remember once I was at this cooking party a gazillion years ago, and the hostess lady told me that I was the only one she knew that ever cut peppers like this. So, you know, I do like to be a rebel and, you know, do my own thing. So if this is wrong, please let me know, but this is what we're going with for now. So I'm just going to continue on removing all this stuff from the peppers, and then the quinoa will be ready soon, and we're going to put it all together. Okay, so the quinoa is done. It looks pretty good. So I am going to put it in a bowl, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix all the ingredients together that will make up the filling for the stuffed peppers. So we're going to put the quinoa in there, the salsa, black beans that have been drained and rinsed, cup of corn, 2 green onions, and now I gotta measure some stuff. Okay, 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. This is what's gonna give it a little bit of a cheesy flavor. Now, if you stir this up and it's still, you think you need to adjust it a bit, you can always add a little bit more of any of the spices. So 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. Just love me some cumin. That's a tablespoon. Was that a tablespoon? I think it was. We probably don't need any more cumin because I think I screwed that part up, but that's okay. All right. 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Now let's get this right this time. Smoked paprika. And then 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Come on, chili powder. chili powder. Okay, I'm gonna just throw a little bit more in there because I don't think I got enough. I like it spicy anyways, so you know, that's my preference. Like I said, for the spices, you can always add a little bit more of what you like. And then I'm gonna just throw in a little bit of salt because why not? Okay, so let's stir this all together and see what we got here. Oh, you know what? This looks really, really good. I'm super excited to eat these. Yum, yum, people. Who knew? Okay, smells so good. Okay, so here's what the mixture looks like. And now I'm just gonna go and put this mixture into the peppers that I've cut up earlier. Don't these peppers look so good and festive? Okay, I'm super excited. So I'm gonna take the mixture, like I said, and I'm going to stuff them in the peppers like so, and then pack them down a bit. And then what I'm going to do is preheat my oven for 350, and I'm going to put tin foil over top and bake for, I think, 35 to 45 minutes. We'll check it out and see if that's right. I'm pretty sure it is. But like, yum, doesn't this look good? Okay, I'm super excited. So this is what they look like right now. I'm just waiting for the oven to preheat, and then I'm gonna cover them with tin foil and bake them. Don't they look delicious? Woo! Oh my gosh, you guys, look how good this looks. I can't wait to try it, and it smells delicious. Let's serve one up, shall we? You guys, it is so good. So many delicious flavors. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe for the Mexican quinoa stuffed peppers. Mwah! Hey guys, when I was growing up as a kid in Fort Francis, my grandma used to make this delicious Ukrainian soup. I'm talking about borscht. Now, I was a super picky eater, so I don't know what appealed to me about beet and potato soup, but it was so good. I loved it. And I honestly don't think I've made it since my grandmother's passed. So I thought I should try to make some borscht. I looked at a gazillion recipes. I even asked my mother if she had a recipe. She couldn't find anything. So I'm just kind of going based on what I remember and adding a few twists here and there from recipes that I've checked out. So I'm going to show you the ingredients that we're going to need for my Sandi inspired Ukrainian borscht. Let's get started. So I am going to use these 4 beets, and I'm also going to use the greens and a bit of the stems because I remember my grandmother always did that, and I liked it. So I'm gonna do it. I'm also gonna use 1 large carrot, a large stalk of celery, 1 medium onion, some garlic. I'm probably gonna put more garlic than that. 3 potatoes, some fresh dill. I'm gonna add cabbage. I can't remember if she put cabbage in hers, but I'm gonna throw a little bit of cabbage in there. A little bit of olive oil, some vegetable stock, and some vinegar. Okay, so one of the most common complaints I've heard about making anything with beets is that your hands turn red and you get all that beet color on your hands from handling the beets. So what I'm going to do is, I checked it out on YouTube, and it said to put the beets in some aluminum foil, put a little bit of olive oil on. So we're just gonna drizzle a little bit over there. Oh, maybe that's too much, I don't know. And a little bit of salt. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wrap them up and I'm gonna roast them in the oven at 375 for probably an hour, or at least till they're tender and I can stick a fork in it, and then you know they're done. So that's what I'm gonna do, and then according to this YouTube tutorial that I watched, you can just take some paper towels and rub the skin off. So we're gonna see if that really happens. I'm excited because usually things don't really work out for me. So if this does work out, it'll be awesome. So I'm gonna pop this in the oven for an hour, and I'm gonna chop up my other vegetables, which is another thing you guys know I love doing. Okay, be right back. Hey. So while those are roasting, I just wanted to say one of the reasons why I'm roasting them as opposed to boiling them, as I just thought it would be easier, and I wanted to see that peeling off the skin thing, if it really works. And I asked a couple people's opinion and they were like, roast them. So we're going with roasting them. I was just gonna boil them, but hey, what do I know, right? So the other thing is I'm going to cut my vegetables into like larger chunks. Some of the recipes I was looking at, they wanted to shred the carrot and shred the beets. I don't think I want that because I think it would be really mushy and not good. Like I want like some chunks, I want some hardiness. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to cut up the celery and the onion, and then I'm just gonna simmer that with some, saute it, simmer it, whatever, with some olive oil until that gets soft, and then I'm gonna keep adding more and more vegetables. I mean, we still got a ways to go on the beets. The other thing that I was gonna mention, yeah, I am putting in some beet greens, so we'll see how that goes. I am gonna put in some cabbage. Now the onion, you know, I have a love-hate relationship with the onion because I am not a fan of onions. Yes, I understand that you need onions for recipes because if that's where you get the flavor and everything, but I just have such a hard time with onions. Not an onion fan. So what I'm gonna do is, it calls for that whole onion. I think I'm only gonna put half in it. I know, but I'm doing it my way, right? So half an onion is what I'm gonna go with. So I'm gonna chop that up, and then I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in a pot and get this borscht started. So we still got like 45 minutes on the beets, so it's gonna be a while. So I might as well do some other stuff, right? Okay, let's get chopping. Oh, onion. Why do I not love you? I don't know. It's just not my favorite thing. I don't know. But like I said, I know that recipes call for onions. I know you need onions for flavor. A lot of times, probably some of the things I make are a little bit bland, maybe even because I don't put onion in them. So this is so hard for me right now. I'm probably gonna just start crying. One, because I don't like onions, and two, because I'm cutting the onion. Woo! Is there a way to cut onions without crying? I don't even know. I mean, I cry. I cry over everything anyways, so you know, what's an onion cry for today? So I'm gonna chop this up. I'm heating up the olive oil right now as we speak. I put about like 3 tablespoons of olive oil in a pot. I'm gonna cut this up really small and then put it in with the celery and saute it. Okay, so I'm just sauteing the onions and the celery in the olive oil over a medium-high heat for 3 to 4 minutes. And as much as I hate onion, it does smell really, really good. Okay, I probably have it on way too high because it's really like sizzling. So yeah, I'm gonna saute that for 3 to 4 minutes, and I'm gonna get the rest of my vegetables ready. Okay, just chopping up this carrot. Like I said, I want mine in kind of like, I guess they call it julienne, the carrots, like in little sticks. But it's really not fun cutting this. I've got to be honest with you there. And I saw these things at the grocery store, and they were like, they looked like little rippled chips actually, but they were carrots. And I thought, oh, I should just buy a bag of those and then just pop them in here. But I'm like, no, just try to be organic and cut them up. So yes. That is what I'm doing, and I don't know why I'm chopping stuff up just frustrates me. But maybe it's good to take out my frustrations on the chopping, on the carrots instead of you. You know who you are. Okay, so I'm gonna chop these up, and then what I realized was I was supposed to like already put the beets in with all this other stuff, and they still have about a half hour to go. And then I think I have to let it cool for a bit and then like wipe the skin off with the paper towel trick if it works. So I'm just gonna talk for a bit, cut up the vegetables, probably have a coffee, and then, so it's gonna be done a little bit out of order. I probably should have like roasted those beets first, had them ready to go. But you know, this is television, people, and I can't go back and recook it all. So this is how I'm doing it. It's probably not the way you would do it, but it's still all gonna turn out in the end, right? It's gonna be delicious. And I just hope that it's as good as when my grandma made it. Now, the other thing that I do know that she put in it was some kind of like heavy cream or something. And actually hers looked kind of like a pink color as opposed to like a purple, reddish, beet color. So what I'm gonna do, gonna eat this carrot. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to put a little bit of vegan sour cream on the top and then kind of swish it in at the end. So I think that'll give it kind of the same effect without using cream. So I'm gonna better go check those onions and celery and just keep chopping. Just keep chopping. So like I said, I don't particularly remember having cabbage in the recipe that I grew up with, but I love cabbage, and I love cabbage soup, I love cabbage rolls. Who just doesn't love cabbage? So I'm gonna throw some cabbage in there. I'm thinking like probably about a quarter of a cabbage, like the actual whole head of cabbage. And I'm just gonna cut it into like strips like this. I guess I could shred it, but like I said, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of shredding stuff, I guess. I don't know, I'm just gonna cut it in these little strips, and I think that will be good. And then I still have, what do I have left? The potatoes, and oh yeah, the actual stems and leaves of the beets. Now I hope you guys don't think that's weird, because seriously, I looked at so many recipes and not one of them said to put that in there. So I'm like, maybe that's just something we invented in our family. But I'm gonna do it because that's the way I grew up having it. So right or wrong, who cares? I want some beet leaves in there, okay? So I'm gonna do that. So we're almost done with this cabbage, and then on to the next. Oh my goodness, so I seriously just lost a potato. And I'm looking all over my kitchen and I'm going, how do you lose a potato? Like seriously, you had 3 potatoes, now you have 2. Where's that other potato? It was hiding over there. Found the potato. So now I'm gonna peel the potatoes, which again, one of my favorite things to do. But you know what? I guess sometimes you just gotta sacrifice. If you wanna have some good, healthy food, it's not always just gonna be, bing, ready-made, right? You're gonna have to peel it, wash it, you know, whatever you gotta do. And in the ending, you'll be so happy and so proud of yourself that you made something really good. At least that is what I'm hoping for today. As I've said, I can't believe 50-year-old Ukrainian woman, and I've never made borscht. Like what? Like that's not even normal. I'm gonna have to try to make some vegan cabbage rolls too. Like that's next on my list, because I've never actually made those either. Only the pierogies. And now I don't know how I would make those without cheese. I'm sure I could figure something out. But, oh, okay, just dropping some potatoes now. So let's see, we got 24 minutes still left on the beets. I'm so nervous actually, but I'm excited because you know when you do things and what if it doesn't turn out? Well, then we know that that's not a good way to do those beets, right? So I'm really hoping that the skins come off easily and that I don't make a huge gigantic mess. So I'm gonna chop up these potatoes now that I've found them all, and then the beet greens, and then a little bit of garlic. I'm seriously so hungry right now. All this chopping has made me hungry. So I'm gonna show you what all the chopped stuff looks like. Sorry for the food in my mouth. Okay, so here we have the carrot that I cut up into little like julienne carrot chunks with 3 cloves of garlic. Then I cut up the 3 potatoes, a quarter of the cabbage, and here's the beet greens and stems. Like I didn't use the whole thing. And obviously the beets are supposed to go in this part too. And then later the dill, broth, and vinegar. Stay tuned. Dun, 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 dun. Fresh out of the oven. Okay, so this is gonna be the moment of truth. First of all, I know you can't really see what I'm doing because I'm like too low here, sorry. I'm just unwrapping these beets. Ooh, they are like steaming. And it's been exactly 1 hour that they were roasting in the oven. I'm just gonna stick a knife in Yeah, they're soft. So what I'm gonna do, obviously, woo! They are too steamy to touch right now. So I'm gonna let them cool down for a bit. I'll let you know how long I let them cool down for. And then we are gonna take this paper towel and we are gonna rub the skin off. That's right, we're gonna see if it works. Are you excited, Milo? He's excited. He just ate a piece of raw onion. Don't even get me started. Okay, so we're gonna do that and then we're gonna put the soup all together and I think it's gonna be fantastic. Okay, so I'm super excited to see if this actually works. And if it doesn't, I have a plan B. I'm either just gonna cut the skins off or I'm gonna run them under the sink, which I think I can just get them off with my hands, which will make my hands turn red, but oh well. Okay, let's try it. Like I haven't tried it, still all 4 beets are here. So let's see what happens. I don't know if they're totally cool, but oh, you know what? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys, the skin is coming right off. So this really worked. Oh, this is awesome. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna rub the skin off. As you can see, it's coming right off and I'm not getting my hands dirty. And then I'm gonna cut these beets up and then we're finally gonna put it all together, okay? So let me just get this done. Well, maybe a little bit red, eh? Get this done and then we're gonna put it all together. I'm excited. Okay, so remember those onions and celery that I had sauteing? So I will be completely honest with you. I ended up burning it. Yeah, I did, because I was chatting too much. So then I was like, oh, thank God I didn't use that whole onion. See, things happen for a reason. So I used the other half of the onion and celery, and now I'm doing it the way that it's actually supposed to be done. So I've sauteed that 3 to 4 minutes. I'm putting in my carrots and my garlic. And then I am going to put in these beets, which I chopped up kind of just like crazy, but hey, crazy cook over here. And yeah, that method worked out perfectly. Now, I don't know exactly how long I let them cool for. I think just honestly like 5 minutes. They were still a little tiny bit warm, but there you go. Oh, yeah, I am making a mess. Okay. So let's just take a look at this right now. I'll show you. Like how good does that look? Seriously. I'm going to throw some salt in. I'm probably supposed to use sea salt, but this is good for right now. And I'm going to let this cook for a couple minutes. And then I'm going to put in the rest of the ingredients, like the potatoes, the cabbage, the leaves of the beets, and the stock, the vegetable stock, and the vinegar. Now, yes, I did not make my own vegetable stock. Come on, people, this was enough here. So I did cheat a little bit and bought some store-bought vegetable stock, which I will be adding momentarily. Okay, so now I'm taking the rest of my vegetables and throwing them in. Oh gosh, I don't think this pot is big enough. Oh my goodness. Okay. So what I'm going to be doing now is transferring this to another pot. I'll be right back. Okay, so it's in a bigger pot and I'm going to add the vegetable stock, which I'm putting in right now 1 liter, I believe, of vegetable stock. Now I might have to add some water or something after because I don't know if this is going to be quite enough. And then I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of just regular vinegar. Now, I could also use apple cider vinegar, but I don't know. Today I just felt like regular vinegar. So that is what we are going to do. And then I'm going to stir this. Yeah, I think I might add just a little bit. Well, I don't know if I should add water or not. Maybe a little bit of water. And then I'm going to put a lid on it and I'm going to let it boil for about 20-25 minutes. Okay, so what I actually meant before was let it come to a boil, then turn it down, cover it, and let it cook on very low heat for 25 minutes. And on a quick side note, while I'm waiting for my borscht to cook, I cut up the greens and the little stems, and I'm gonna put this in the freezer because I will not let this go to waste. I will use this in some other sort of soup or even just like saute it up with some olive oil and some garlic or something, and it'll be delicious. So don't waste, people. This is still good. Okay, so I ended up letting that cook for about 25 to 30 minutes, just until the potatoes are tender and the vegetables aren't like too hard. And then I'm going to take this fresh dill, and I am just going to sprinkle a whole bunch of it in there. This is the part I absolutely love. And then I'm gonna put the lid on it and remove it from the heat and let it rest for 10 minutes before serving. Shh, it's resting. Okay, seriously, how good does this look? I am super excited to try it. So I've topped it off with a little bit of vegan non-dairy sour cream. That is optional. And let's give it a try. Yum, yum. Okay, so I honestly haven't even tried it yet. I'm super excited. I'm a little nervous, but I'm thinking, how could anything go wrong? I mean, I think it's gonna be absolutely delicious. I wanna make sure I get a little chunk of beet in there. Okay, here goes. It's so good. You know what, you guys? I know I always say that, but honestly, it is delicious. So I think you guys are gonna love this. I know my recipe was a little bit crazy. I hope you could all follow along. And if you make this at home or you have any other suggestions for me, please let me know. And I hope you all try this recipe. Mwah!